Okay, so let me say right off the bat, as a guitarist myself, I'm feeling like this is a bit of a strange topic to explore on this channel, but seeing as there's just so many incredible, mind-blowing virtual instruments out there at our disposal, especially for creating guitar-driven music, I thought I'd share with you guys a few of my favorites and how I go about using some of these libraries effectively to create beautiful cinematic folk tracks that sound something like this. So let me just say right off the bat that I personally just absolutely love the Native Instruments collection of acoustic and electric contact instruments. And that's what I'm going to explore in this video today for the most part. There are some notable libraries out there like Ample Sound Acoustic and Orange Tree Samples also make some like amazing guitar VSTs. But I think that in terms of like straight out of the box sounds awesome factor, Native Instruments really just captures something particularly special with their strummed acoustic libraries and their picked acoustic libraries. Also, the picked nylon acoustic library sounds amazing too. I think that they're just like, I don't know, a lot of fun to use. They're really easy to use. And in my opinion, they're well priced. So let's take a look at some of these libraries and how I use them together. So the problem is that capturing the raw, natural, authentic, human factor from a real guitar performance is exceptionally difficult to do with a sampled guitar, VST or library. And even though you do get like quite a nice result, right out of the box, if you combine some of these performance presets with the auto chord function, for example, here I'll just solo part of this track. So while that sounds nice, when you listen to it on its own like that, you still get that like too perfect-ish feeling, which sort of doesn't sit well with me all the time. So I do have a couple of approaches for like using these libraries more effectively, making them sound a little bit more authentic. First thing I'd recommend doing is if you don't have any real guitars sitting around at your disposal and you're relying solely on virtual instruments, I recommend doing some really careful layering between guitar VSTs and taking advantage of all the humanization features on the back end of these libraries. I also recommend building a really strong arrangement around the guitar parts that can direct some of the attention away from the guitars themselves. So throwing the finger-picked acoustic into this mix here with the strummed acoustic, you can see that it makes quite a big difference. And like I said, on the back end of both of these libraries, you have all sorts of really interesting features that you can take advantage of. Looking at the strummed acoustic here, we can change the voicing, like where it's being played on the neck. You can add fret noise in. You can offset the timing. You can humanize the performance. You can add some swing into it. And if we take a look at the back end of our finger-picked acoustic here, I actually have the doubling mode engaged on this, which is giving it more of a stereo spread. So I have my strummed acoustic kind of like sitting down the middle of the mix and my finger-picked acoustic, which is being kind of spread left and right. You can also slightly detune the finger-picked acoustic, which is an interesting feature. You, of course, don't really want your guitar to sound out of tune, ideally, but if you're playing a real guitar, you do get those kind of like micro-tuning issues with the intonation, which can often sound, really good, as long as it's not too pronounced. So in terms of building like a really strong arrangement around the guitar parts, I've tried my best to do that in this track. Really helps, obviously, that I have some great libraries to work with. In this case, I've used my Abbey Road strings, combined them with some piano VSTs, and those strings in the piano are saying like, hey, listen to me, I sound pretty good. And it does take away, some of the focus from the acoustic guitars a bit, which, like I said, if we solo them, they sound good, but they're just a little bit too good to be true. When we have everything else kicking in, it's obviously much less apparent. Another really important feature of these guitar libraries is the ability to add proper endings and like one-shot articulations on top of your looped performances, which you can access simply by using one of a few different key switches that they have built in. So you have your like one chord rake up or down, a regular like quick strum, and like a strum and mute. You even have some like percussion options built in too. Slide down, open chord. So all of these features are essential, and keep in mind also that these libraries are tempo synced to whatever your tempo is in your DAW. And in the case of this track, I'm actually bringing the tempo down towards the ending of the track, which even further adds a sense of realism to it. So if I pull down my global tracks here, you can see that I'm moving from about 115 to 95 here right at the end. And makes for a nice little ending. So I think that one of the most interesting approaches for writing cinematic folk music is using a combination of virtual and real stringed instruments, which is something that I do all the time. So taking a look at a different track here, in this case, I'm using the strummed acoustic library in tandem with a recording of a real strummed acoustic. So soloing the VST here. And then adding in a few layers of my real acoustic. I ended up with like a real nice thick sound. In the context of the whole track, also looking beyond acoustic guitar libraries, I often combine like pizzicato articulations from some of my favorite string libraries, some of my Spitfire libraries, with real guitars. In the case of this track, I'm using a cello pizzicato, viola pizzicato, and an acoustic guitar and a ukulele. It sounds like this. This is something I wrote for a short film a while back, and it worked out beautifully for the footage. So with the string arrangement as well. So cinematic folk tracks are, in some sense, my bread and butter, especially when it comes to film scoring. I've just written a ton of music in this particular style, and I'm actually currently working on an album of music in this vein for pitching, for sync licensing. Lastly, I do want to mention that I've just published February's course for the Production Music Academy, which is on this very topic. And in this course, I take you through the entire writing and mixing and mastering process for the first track that we took a look at in this video, as well as I also explore techniques for recording, layering, and mixing real guitars. It's all on sale in the Academy at the moment and on Teachable. It's only $25. And of course, as always, it's automatically available to all the Academy members who are subscribed to the Master tier. So thanks for watching. You can find out more if you click the links in the description of this video. Go check that out if you'd like. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button, and also join the conversation in the Make Music Income Discord server. As always, I really appreciate your guys' support, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.